Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, with big name organisations falling short of expectations here so far in Vanguard. Trash talk is certainly going to be rife. Crimsix versus SlasheR is the main topic of discussion today, but plenty other things to dive into as well. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new as always, I'd really appreciate it. Firstly, we're going to dive into this from Charlie Intel. I imagine the sales from Vanguard have been so lackluster that they're already pushing the new Call of Duty game. I mean, we're here in what, February, and they're already kind of revealing all this stuff about what's going on with the game. Like, there's some leaks coming through. Now, in fairness, there's been a lot of positivity around this. I try not to get suckered into that really, because at the end of the day, it is a Modern Warfare game created by Infinity Ward. It might not be the greatest title we've ever seen for competitive play, but in fairness, I think there was a lot more transparency here. Charlie Intel and a lot of the other people covering this were very happy that a lot of transparency of the issues of Warzone and stuff like this from the developers, what they're going to try and do to fix things, which really is something we don't tend to see for Call of Duty developers, right? So I guess this is a positive to at least some degree, and well, it's exciting stuff potentially if the developers are going to take in this mindset into the rest of the game's development as well. The thing I'm really hoping for is the ranked play system we have finally arriving here into Vanguard. Now, well, unfortunately for at least some of the pro players, seems like jetpacks are not coming back, as the studio head, who is also, well, seriously involved in what's going on with the future Call of Duty titles as well, basically says that, yeah, no boost jumps or jetpacks returning anytime soon, unfortunately. So I guess we'll see how that goes. They could always change their mind, I suppose. But, well, here we go in ranked play. This is as we looked at yesterday. Skill divisions as a visible ELO rating. I think back in World War II, I'm not sure if they're going to do exactly the same kind of numbering, but in World War II, I think I was about like 2000. 2000, I think, was kind of the bridge between a gold and then platinum or whatever it was called. And then I think some of the pros, like the top tier pros, were up near 3000, something like that. aBeZy was like, he had 2 accounts at 3000. That's the thing that's so good about this, especially because, I'll show you guys in a second, when I first saw rank progression, I was like, oh my god, it's just like Black Ops 4 system again, and Black Ops Cold War system as well, like back again with whatever's going on here. And of course, these are all the skill divisions and tiers. If you guys did not see them yesterday, lots of tiers here. I thought it was pretty cool actually, certainly more than last year, but of course there is also a number associated with that, which is certainly a positive thing. This is also from Treg, right? There's actually rewards that can come into the game as well, so if you do well, you get rewards, you get operator skins. That's hopefully they make these really cool like there was back in Advanced Warfare. That's certainly a massive turn on to play ranked play. And if you scroll further down, you'll actually find this, right? Top 250. This is really cool. This is kind of what I was getting at with aBeZy. Like back in World War II, this guy was just playing for Enigma 6. People didn't really know who aBeZy was, and he was just playing in the amateur side effectively, and he had 2 accounts right at the top of the ladder, and was, destroying all the pro players in the matches he matched up against them in, because that's the thing, theoretically in ranked play, anyone can match up against the pros if you're good enough, which is really cool. And I mean, look, if you're top 250, you actually get to see yourself on a leaderboard all around the world. A lot of the pros saw aBeZy topping those leaderboards back in World War II, and so now in a second, who is this guy? And well, look, now he's a 2-time world champion. So that's one of the great things about stuff like this. I do just hope that Infinity Ward with their Modern Warfare title don't regress massively from what we finally managed to achieve here and say, actually, no, we're going back to a CDL playlist or whatever it was back in Modern Warfare. Hopefully Trek or whoever continue to be involved and could basically just copy and paste this system over to the next game, right? You wouldn't think that they'd want to regress so drastically, but they've done it before. They might well do it again. Clayster says, me and a couple of other pros sat down with some CDL staff and devs to kind of, make that happen. Really cool to see some of the feedback being taken on board. Hopefully they do the same going forward as well, and it actually works when it drops on the 17th. Let's dive briefly into their match from yesterday then once again, as Clayster says, thought this is a difficult tweet to see, really annoying that everyone tweets to me like I make the sole decisions and act like I don't know that I'm playing badly right now. So very interesting actually, because I make the sole decisions, implying that a lot of people are accusing him of getting Neptune dropped from the team. Of course, it is going to be a team decision, but maybe he's trying to distance himself some degree from that decision. Like, maybe he was on board with it, but maybe Crimsix was pushing it. I don't know. Tough to read into. You guys don't see all the VODs I watch and all the 8s I've been playing to try and improve. Just got to be better and trust I'm trying. And that's the thing, like, you see this from Clayster, like, he wears his heart on his sleeve, right? And I'm sure he was getting similar tweets when he was on a 1400-day winless streak back in, the Black Ops 4 days, right? And he hadn't won in so many years. And then, of course, he comes out and look what happened after that. He focused up, he grinded, and he won back-to-back events that season. He won the World Championship, won the World Championship next year as well. Things really changed around. So I think it certainly can happen for Clayster. He had a really strong start to last year statistically and then kind of fell off. This year, who knows, it could be the other way around. I do often feel bad for the pros and guys like Clayster, the vitriol that gets sent their way after results like this, but at the end of the day, like, that's just how it goes being a professional sports person, I suppose. Like, obviously esports, not necessarily an athlete, but I guess being a public figure, that's just kind of what comes along with it, right? But Clayster wears his heart on his sleeve, so we get to see what he thinks on the timeline fairly often. Hope he can turn things around over at the Subliner side. Of course, they brought Royalty in. GG's to LAT, lost 1-3. Thought this was a good statement really here from Royalty. Being on 80 ping is still, it's tough obviously, but still no excuse. They need to make better decisions on that map. Well, that's the thing really. They played the the Bacage Hardpoint map one. If there's one map where playing on 80 ping is not going to be ideal, it's probably the mixiest map of all time on Bacage Hardpoint, right? So no real surprise you went double negative there. But still, not ideal for New York, especially if he can't get out of Canada or whatever is going on there right now. It's not the ideal situation New York really find themselves in. Speaking of roster changes, this real quick from Crone. Yeez has replaced Vickle in the Pentagram Pounder God RX team. That's pretty interesting. Yeez has been talking about trying to prove everyone wrong, and of course he is on Florida's bench right now. If that team continues to struggle, seeing what New York have already done, they may well consider to make some sort of substitute move relatively soon. This also to mention from Chrome, the strafing run has been added to the GAs. Asim mentioned this, I believe, yesterday or a couple of days ago now on stream. It's now officially gone. We saw today a lot of guys that, well, had the strafing run, they earned it. They didn't use it in the game though, because I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, right, the way this thing works. Like, it just flies in at any angle, and it actually in some situations is worse to use it than to use it, because it can kill your own team. Like, I don't understand it. It seems to be completely random what angle the thing flies in at, and therefore, like, it's just completely RNG effectively with who it kills. So they've decided to GA it, which makes sense. If it's kind of more defined, they'll probably bring it back into the game. For now, we've just got the glide bomb, which I don't really think is all that bad, all things considered. And let's dive into this then, Crimsix versus SlasheR. So these guys certainly going at it a few years ago. SlasheR was generally getting the better of Crimsix back in the Black Ops 4 days, right? Obviously versus 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves always seemed to get the better of him. There was a lot of talk from Crimsix at the time, like, okay, what can I do against SlasheR and Octane in this situation? But then, like, in fairness, since then, SlasheR's career has kind of gone down a difficult path on the Modern Warfare Optic Gaming Los Angeles team. Since then, it hasn't really worked out last year from on Los Angeles Thieves, now on Los Angeles Guerrillas, and another, well, they got 3-0'd yesterday by the Toronto Ultra. Now, Crimsix, on the other hand, of course, last year was pretty good. Modern Warfare was great for him. We won the World Championship. Last year as well on Dallas Empire, still was like a top 3 team in the game. This year, of course, has started up not particularly well. He might figure it out, but yeah, some trash talk going down certainly between the two of them.
Bro, do I need to be the class? Yeah, bro. You got it.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, let's hear it because what?
What's your dead zones?
Dude, shut the f you see. Wait, Austin, where were you since Black Ops 4? Dumb. Suck my whole all 1.5 inches.
Bro,
get his ass, Aylin. Fight back, bro. Fight back.
Dude, he literally used to have nightmares of me in Black Ops 4. Literal nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Arming you every time I saw you.
Insert formal joke here, bro. You feared formal. You told me.
Balls.
You told me over. You had 1 Dos Equis and you said formal's the.
5 kills, you guys wouldn't want a ring. 5. That's all I needed.
Who should
I mean, I don't know if that's true, but your cap was pretty awful.
Not awful.
Oh, TacticalRab, make sure you tag me.
Shout out Accuracy as well for kind of breaking the guys up or spurring them on at certain times. Definitely doing his bit for the content right there. Good to see these guys going at it, to be honest. Because, you know, good personalities clashing like this, always a good time. And I mean, yeah, as Crimsix was kind of saying, SlasheR, where have you been since Black Ops 4? What's going on there? SlasheR, of course, had a few words in reply. Just did want to bring this up real quick, actually, because this is kind of back in the Black Ops 4 days. Went from London all the way to the World Championship. Pretty sure they didn't beat 100 Thieves one time. They played them, of course, at London in the winners finals. Lost 3-1. This, of course, yeah, SlasheR versus Crimsix at the time was a very different story, right? And I mean, once again here at Anaheim, they lost to 100 Thieves again, they lost at the playoffs, and then they lost at Champs, right? So 4 series in a row in big situations. 100 Thieves and SlasheR got the better of Crimsix and as the kind of main AR as he was at this time, for Optic Gaming back in Black Ops 4 when they were also a top 3 team in the game, but 100 Thieves were, well, top 1 for a time, and then top 2 when United came along and started doing pretty good things as well. But on that team, SlasheR was considered one of the final bosses. This guy was so hard to go up against, good dropping consistent 1.1s, 1.2s. Nowadays, you don't really see that, right? And of course, look, the online league definitely hasn't helped him, like he hasn't had the greatest time, but statistically so far in this game and even last game, like nothing particularly special really stood out. In fairness, when they did go back to land towards the end of last year on Los Angeles Thieves when he was brought back, he definitely put up some decent performances, but I didn't get the results that kind of go along with that, and so far here in this game, like the stats haven't really painted a picture. The SlasheR is at, well, a dominant AR force like he was a few years ago. So maybe Crimsix has a point, but at the same time, like it's not like New York are doing particularly hot right now either, so definitely intrigued to your perspective on that one in the comment section below. This other was kind of funny between the two of them, actually. Yeah, it's tonight, need more banter in my life. And yeah, Crimsix reporting for duty. It's the boys getting ready to go once again. So yeah, just classic stuff from Crimsix really on the timeline. No surprises there. Just to mention this before we go into today's games, CDL actually trolling hard today, as Brian Saint says, letting teams post-match comms come through on the broadcast. This was quite interesting, actually. You guys might have noticed this. I didn't really notice it. I'm not sure if it was every single game this happened. Certainly for the final one, New York versus Los Angeles Thieves, when as soon as the game ends, wins, for some reason, like the kind of comms from the team can get heard through the stream, which is never necessarily a sign for success, because you don't want to be hot mic'd like that, whatever might potentially be being said, but also like strat-wise, like of course, you know, theoretically after the match is concluded, nothing really should be said outside of just, you know, okay, GG's guys, nicely done, or like getting hyped or whatever the case might be. But it was still kind of interesting that kind of slipped through the cracks there, because last year we saw that when comms were revealed by the CDL, there was that whole Optic versus FaZe game drama where they kind of revealed the comms from the map 5, and no one was happy about it, right, because it was potentially revealing information that might give some indication as to what strats they're running. Of course, in this case, it's slightly different, but yeah, still the dangerous game, as Simp kind of points out, that they were playing right here. I guess the CDL guys, maybe they're going to get on top of that. I think Ben J and Asim said from the Esports Engine side, they're going to look into that and make it work. This also I thought was actually really cool, just before we discuss the games for today from the Breaking Point side. Effectively, the last 2 years, we've done the top challenger players of the year and what they look like following. So in Modern Warfare, the top 5 guys were Royalty, Afro, Pred, Hydra, and Dave. Of course, at the time, none of these guys were in the league. Now Royalty is back there. Afro, of course, has been killing it over at London. Pred, of course, is now at Seattle, killing it as well. Hydra on the New York Subliners, and Dave is really the only guy who hasn't quite made it in. I think maybe somewhat unlucky not to make it back into the Pro League. Now he's kind of a Halo Pro, right, or at least trying to make that one work. And I mean, yeah, it's still pretty crazy to see, right, because a lot of people gave, well, the guys at Breaking Point who actually voted in this stuff, because I'm not always too clued up on who's the number 1 guys in order. But I mean, a lot of people were clowning on for all the representation outside of North America. Turns out that was probably rightly so. And this was last year's. All of these 5 guys now. Pentagram's a sub for Los Angeles Thieves. Pred made it in once again. Sip here as well, right, on Seattle. Harry's the substitute for London, and then Nasty's a player for London, right? So it just goes to show that maybe these guys knew what they were talking about voting in this one. Let's talk about the games for today. Very exciting, I think. These are all really good games. I think the best day of games we have. Rokkr versus Ravens. Really exciting, because Rokkr played a great series yesterday, but Ravens, when they played last week against Optic and Florida, were so strong in the respawns, and their search looked decent. I think that Minnesota, some people might give them like a slight favourite, 60-40, 55-45. I'm still going to stick with the London boys until they prove me otherwise, because they were killing it last week. I'm going to say they continue the trends. If it's Minnesota they're playing, it's going to be a long series. I'm going to say 3-1 London. If it goes game 5, like, I mean, yeah, Rokkr were just hard to get by in that particular situation. Of course, that accuracy managed to do it yesterday, but accuracy is accuracy. The second series, this is obviously a massive one, right? Paris Legion versus Optic. This is effectively a must-win, a lot of people are saying, for Optic right here. I think they will do it. Paris looked pretty woeful yesterday, right? So you'd be very surprised if Optic don't win this series. Like, it seems like Paris are kind of getting into their position of being obviously a top 12 team in the game, right? Now, Optic, they have to come in here and win this. They're going to have to fight. They're going to need to do it. They're going to need to prove a lot of people that, yes, they can be a winning team, because if they lose this series, like, I can't see them making it through this season without making a roster change. But who knows what happens? I just think it's a massive one for their season, this, to be honest. I'm going to take them probably a 3-0. I actually think Optic just come out and fry them, but I could very much be wrong on this issue. FaZe versus Boston. Boston looked pretty good yesterday, actually, so I don't think this is going to be a walkover for FaZe, but I really feel like FaZe kind of found their stride in the end of that Los Angeles Thieves series, the last series they played in the previous week, so I really think they come out and handle business here 3-1, and then LA Thieves Mutineers. Like, Mutineers are a team, again, you can't predict what they're going to do, but I think Thieves will get the better of them 3-1 or something. They seem to be a more complete team at the present time, and at least more consistent in all game modes. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button, tell us the YouTube gods, it's a good video, and I was like, you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.